Killa podcast. KillaOfficial.com.
THTC, the UK's leading ethical streetwear label. Organically grown and ethically built garments from hemp, organic cotton, and other sustainable materials. 2019 is their 20th anniversary year. Join me with THTC as a Killa podcast sponsor celebrating music, social activism, hemp, and street culture. THTC, eco-fashion redefined since 1999.
Killa Sweet 16 streaming across all music platforms now. Featuring 16s from Tina Kamau, Orifice Volgatron, Foreign Beggars, Marga, Bob Villain, Illerman, and Trigger. The sounds of Killa Sweet 16s streaming now.
AG Dentistry. In my line of work, not only does what I do with the mouth get reviewed, it's also my instrument. And it's beyond important to me that my teeth get the professional service they deserve. The AG family provide expert dentistry, whether it's NHS or cosmetic. They're the finest in London. Head over to agdentistry.co.uk for more information on treatments and prices. AG Dentistry. Beatbox created.
Killa.
And we're here to talk about world music and street culture.
Killa podcast.
Mad, isn't it? Should we do it then?
All right, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Killa podcast. Serves you right, live from central London, or as central as we need to be. Don't forget to subscribe and all that good stuff, all right? You know the deal. I only roll with the high rollers. And yeah, some of you may know him as Ben Bailey Smith. Others you may know him, and if you've done your research, you should know him as the man, the Doc Brown. Entertainer, comedian, rapper, actor, writer. I'm in the right ballpark.
I like that. You're the only person who's ever called me an entertainer, and that's it. That's all you need to say, really.
Yeah.
That sums it all up.
By default.
Yeah, I'm an entertainer, man.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that. My dad always said, if you can't describe your job in one word, it's not a real fucking job.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm just quite good. So I'm a bit ill, man.
You're feeling a bit under the weather, aren't you?
Coughing fit.
Yeah.
I'll get for it.
True dedication to the art of entertainment. You see, yeah, I know what you're saying. There's definitely that thing where you've actually got to define yourself pretty quickly early on, or else the goalposts get moved. Okay, what are you today?
Yeah, and people can't really handle. I've had that throughout my career. People can't really deal with you stepping out of what they see as your lane.
Of course,
you know. But when I look at it, and I'm sure you can relate to this, I don't feel like I had a choice being a rapper when we were part of the culture. Because there was no industry for us. You know, who were our megastars? You know, we didn't really have bona fide pop stars.
Yeah, that's right.
You know? Probably not even really until Dizzy. I mean, I know we had people who did their thing in the 80s and 90s, but there was nothing like substantial that just stayed. Like Dizzy's still a star.
Yeah, it's true.
Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, doing our thing, like, early 2000s, it's like there's just nothing there. And eventually, I was just like, either I'm an artist or I'm not, you know? And I really deeply felt that I had something to give. But I couldn't operate in that pool and consider myself an artist for much longer because I was just like, this whole thing is a bit of a joke.
Yeah. I feel
and I don't see myself as a joke.
Yeah.
So it was weird.
I mean, we go back a little while, just for those of you who don't know, and at speed, like, we kind of circulated around the same paddock of maybe between 2000 and 2004 easily.
Yeah, definitely.
Wasn't it, you know? And
definitely.
we'd crossed paths in, like, the West End, for instance.
All the time, man.
Where you'd been, like, in theatre or doing comedy.
Different events. To begin with, it would have been, like, Kung Fu at the Underworld. Actually, no, before the Underworld. What was it called? That little place around the back of Sainsbury's in Camden.
Oh,
do you remember that one? It was called. What was it called? It was
my God! Now you really
Blue. It was a bar that had a name that was. Oh, it's just WKD.
Damn, I remember that. Yeah, dude.
WKD.
That was right.
That's where Kung Fu was.
And they used to have these, regular
and
nights there.
Dynamo used to come around doing his little tricks for £1.
Dude,
I
tell people about Dynamo and how he used to do the whole breakdance thing and that. Yeah.
He used to come down from Bradford and he'd just sleep. Anyone, he'd just give him a sofa and he'd sleep on your sofa. And come down to WKD and do magic tricks for £1.
Yeah. I'll be up in Leeds doing a show and there he is, you know. And he'd do this kind of breakdancing thing.
He was the hip-hop magician. So yeah, those times we cross paths all the time. Places like Scala, King's Cross, Swiss Centre, like wherever shit was going down.
Yeah.
Probably the Africa Centre as well.
Africa Centre and
Funkin' Pussy. And
Funkin' Pussy, and also
Covent Garden.
Deck Effects, South London. That was another one, wasn't it?
Deck Effects. Oh my gosh, Mass. Yeah.
Yeah.
All that stuff. So yeah, it was a small community, the hip hop community, whether you were graffiti, breaking, beatboxing, DJing, rapping. Everybody kind of knew everybody, especially in that era. Because it's like Skinny Man said on that track, he said, nobody in this British rap game is making it. We all sort of had that understanding that if there was going to be any money, we'd just be like crabs in a bucket. So we just sort of, it was mad. It was so pure and we were so young. I guess we didn't have the same responsibilities we've got now. So we could sort of get by on the purity of it for a bit.
That's right. And there was also, it was on that interim just before the internet really went. So that really was our reality.
Yeah.
We were housed in the world of record stores, venues.
The immediacy of, did you see that shit last night?
Yeah.
And if you didn't see it, you didn't see it, bro. You missed it.
Yeah. And like you say about our role models at the time, I mean, albeit like the people we grew up with, your Redmans and your Fat Joes and your those that fraternity of New York predominantly, they were blowing up, doing crazy money, making videos and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
It kind of gave way for a more backpacker approach when Company Flow and all those different rappers came out, and that really influenced a UK
late 90s. Yeah, it was like rap always does this. It sort of eats itself just like pop. It gets so big, so consumerist and bought on such a massive scale that it has to sort of implode and has a sort of rebirth. That always happens in rap. Because rap is like punk. You can't keep packaging it.
Yeah.
It will always rebel.
Yeah, totally.
So that the time that happened in our formative years, when we were teenagers, was around that time of the sort of what they call the shiny suit era, and Biggie's second album. So like 97, there was this sort of rebellion, and 12-inch singles, white labels or black labels, by rappers you'd never heard of, became like an entire market.
So legit, yeah.
And London really was a hub for that. Yeah. There were records was popping up all over the place. Do you remember that place near Centre Point, where you go through the newsagent, and there was records just stacked up
I've been
in the
told
back.
about this. I've never seen it. But
I used to get so many indies and black labels and dodgy pressings from there, and I'd bump into people like Shorty Blitz in there.
Kish, and Kish mentioned this place too. Yeah,
I can't remember what it was called, but you'd go through a newsagent to get that. Like shops were popping up everywhere.
That's crazy.
So
think about it.
Culturally, what we had was super strong. Do you know what I mean? If you look at the way, like your art form, you look at the way beatboxing started elevating, everything was just elevating to another level, but there was no industry.
Yeah.
So like I was watching rappers get more complex, I was watching crews forming, exciting crews forming like Terra Firma and people like that, Well,
you had your crew, Poisonous Poets, right?
Yeah.
With Reveal and them.
Reveal,
you guys are...
Tony D.
Yeah.
It's mad to think like Tony, went on to become like just an unbeatable battle champion in like Don't Flop and stuff. So it's like, to me, that was just vindication. I knew everybody that I fucked with had talent, whether they were writers, whether they were breakers, whether they were DJs, whether they were rappers. But like I say, there was no infrastructure, there was no way to make a real living.
Yeah.
Therefore, in a street culture like hip hop, we could never be taken seriously by the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Or even by your family outside of, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you still doing that rap stuff?
Oh my God. The bane of it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I remember that too well.
Do you know what I mean?
And in part, it was complete tenacity and obliviousness to the fact that just kept us going. I mean, I remember every Saturday I'd be up in London, 17, 18 years old, bumping into all these different people that later on become somewhat prestigious, your Roots Manoeuvres of the world.
Yeah.
But at the time, it's like just completely blind ambition, I
mean, I lived hip-hop every day. Like, every single day I would do something. I wouldn't be satisfied by the end of the day unless I'd done something relating to the art form. Even if that was just getting some guys together and just freestyling.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it was, I had to do. That's how much I lived it. And then Fridays I'd go and, run the events in Deal Reel, the second Deal Reel in Carnaby
Oh my
Street.
God, yeah, you did, didn't you?
You know, and
That's
I
sick.
didn't question it.
Yeah.
I was hosting events. We start having huge guests in there, of all caliber, starting with, the English rappers and stuff, and then moving into like Pete Rock, CL Smooth, Pharoah Monch, Mos Def, Kanye West, Redman, Slick Rick, Ghostface. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah. For the size of the shop. And
Yeah, for the size of that little tiny shop that could hold like 40 people. And at no stage did I ever go, this should be, we should film this and it should be like a live streamed event, or like you have to pay to get in, and like we properly book the American acts and I get paid as a host. And then we franchise it out, and like people can do it in every city. It just never even occurred to me.
Yeah.
Of course it should have, but that's what I'm saying. We were kids who lived the culture without question, and because all we knew was failure is a strong word, but just not succeeding to any point of being self-sufficient.
Yeah.
We just did it.
It's a working class mentality, which I think a lot of rap still holds, whether they like to believe it or not.
No question.
Yeah.
And so if you can imagine 2005, like in the spring, my girlfriend gets pregnant and I'm still hosting these events, I'm still not making any money. The panic started to set in.
Of course, yeah.
And it was 3 years until I stepped on a stage and did stand-up. But the difference in being in a culture where there is a clear infrastructure, a clear industry, within 9 months of stepping on the stage for the first time and doing stand-up, February 2008, I was making a living.
That's incredible.
9
dude.
months.
That's sick.
10 years of
So it's
rap.
like hip hop was your training ground.
Yeah, 10 years of rap. I never made a fucking penny.
Wow. Ain't that something?
Mental.
Yeah, it's mental. And isn't it that the... I always say to people, because at its core, I am hip hop, and
Same.
if it wasn't for the fact that it's an athletic sport, but it's not a spectator sport. It's just something you've got to get involved with.
You've got to partake.
You've got to do it, and testament to what we are achieving. You hit the ground running when you've already learned a bunch of crafts that are adaptable within the entertainment world.
Even if I wasn't that funny when I started, I was already very watchable. I'd be on stage with my body language would make people relax. Because in stand-up, as an audience member, you panic if you feel that the artist doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
If the first couple jokes flop. And I used to improvise loads. So a lot of the time, the first couple jokes would flop. But my body language was so short, my eyes, there was not a glimmer of like panic. So people would be like, let's see what this is going.
Hear about. Yeah. It's wicked.
So I could die on stage, not really get any laughs, but it would just confuse people. So you get to the end of like the 10 minutes, there hasn't really been any big laughs.
Yeah.
And then people are like, that wasn't very funny.
But I
it
like
seemed
him.
like it was going somewhere.
Yeah.
Do you
But it
know what I
seems
mean?
like he's got something. You've got something there with this whole stage.
I was buying myself time.
Yeah.
How do I do this? Like, how do I become a master of this?
Wow, so the hustle just kicked in.
Yeah. And the money was real. Like, I was like, this is straightforward. Just do the gigs. If you're funny enough, you get paid. If you're even funnier, you'll get paid more.
Yeah.
That was it.
Simple law of average, right?
Whereas I could write a verse and think, no one's fucking with this 16. It's the best 16 I've ever written.
Yeah.
But what does that mean?
Out into the ether it goes,
Yeah.
and everyone's, he's done another one, good. But there's no kind of, nothing come back, right?
Yeah.
I
And
feel you.
after a while, as you get older, it's like, people are like, do it for the culture. And you're a bit like, dude, fuck the culture.
Yeah.
I am the culture.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've not got anything back.
You're excelling the culture by being a part of the culture and moving it forward into new pastures.
Yeah. So obviously I would never actually say fuck the culture, but it's like, at some stage you have to say, am I an artist or am I not? And if the answer is yes, then you've got to work out how to remunerate that position and make sure the worth that you believe you have is reflected whenever you create.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, totally.
And of course, I'll still create for a laugh. Like I write movies, I write sitcoms. I don't expect them all to be made. I doubt that any of them will be made. Doesn't mean I'm not going to do it. In the same way, I'll still write a rhyme. It's in my essence to create. That said, I will always have a huge percentage of what I create. I will not even put pen to paper without knowing for sure I'm going to get paid. So, I try and just balance it out. I've got my little vanity projects. I'll still put out the odd rap record. I'll try and write a little movie, try and write a sitcom. Probably none of them will go anywhere. But that's my little 25% vanity corner. And then the rest is like, do you know what I mean? I'll write an ad campaign. No one will know I've written it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I got to pay these bills.
Yes.
And I've got a talent that is transferable.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to use it. And it's going to buy me time to go back to my little vanity corner.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
For 6 months.
We were talking before camera, and something relatable. I said, and I know you feel this too. Like, to adapt yourself and mold yourself into a new lane, and working within the restrictions of that for a change. I think how do I explain this? You jump into things so naively, or I do at least, but you make it work, and sometimes you can be spinning off on something that everyone else has been so one-dimensional with, but you're trying to make things work to your capabilities.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, you get given the genius card. That's a great idea. You just done that. How did you do that? And it's like, well, actually, I'm working within what I got in my mind. Do you know what I mean? Do you have that?
I think I definitely had that, and I think naive is the right word as well. I mean, I think I walked into stand-up having not watched any stand-up, not really known what the pros and cons are like, if there's rules to the shit, like, I didn't go in with any sort of knowledge, and I think that immediately helped me because I had a different rhythm when I spoke. I didn't sound like other stand-ups, and I just bent the thing to my will. I was just like, well, if I tell my story in my way, in my voice, it might not be the funniest thing, but it's immediately going to be different. So there was a mixture of naivety and actual, like, quite, like, forward thinking. It was like, part of it was, like, deeply planned. I just thought, if I do this, it will be different. But the naivety was like, I think you need to write some joke. You can't just get up there. But that's what I did, and it took me ages to really knuckle down and write and not be lazy about the construction of jokes and formulas and set pieces and sketches.
Would lazy, because sometimes our confidence in what we do, and our self-assurance in what we have as a trade up till the point that you're doing something new, that can sometimes be... so that's cool. I've got this, I'm confident enough to know it. But,
definitely.
But you, all of a sudden you're in that situation. You're like, shit, I didn't do half of what I should have done before.
Well, the overconfidence is like a gift and a curse. A lot of people think that we are able to do what we do as entertainers because of ego. I say it's a crucial distinction. Ego doesn't help you. Like, you got to kill off your ego. You need humility and you need empathy to be a great artist.
Yeah.
Right? But confidence, that's different to ego. You need to be able to employ enough self-confidence to be commanding and appear to be the master of what you do, even if it's all bullshit, even if it's all surface, just to appear to look like the guy who knows what he's doing. Overconfidence, therefore, is obviously risky. So there's been loads of examples for me, probably mostly auditions, where I think, I've got this. Like, my memory's good enough to know these lines. And I go in there and I walk out thinking, I could have worked a lot. I could have spent an extra day, really, prepping, really getting the voice right for that character.
Just for your own peace of mind.
I could have done it. And, like, I walk out thinking I was okay. But they're not going to hire okay, are they?
I hate that feeling as well because it's your
Oh shit, I could have done better.
hindsight. I know.
And
hindsight's
other times with like live performance, I think, oh god, you know. I mean, if you know me, you know I like a drink. Like sometimes that combination of like overconfidence, having a few drinks, and I'm up there and I'm like, I'm not as sharp as I should be. Do you know what I mean? I didn't need to drink that much pre-show.
But man, you be a cut from a
And
very
now
sober
I swaggered on,
Yeah.
and then something in your body language is a bit like, who's this prick?
Yeah.
Do you
Well,
know what
that's
I mean?
what's going on in your
gotta
mind,
balance
isn't
that.
it? Yeah.
You got to balance that stuff out. So yeah, I'd say there is a part of me, no doubt, the overconfident part of me is like, dude, I've been doing this. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about it. Just turn the fucking mic on.
Exactly.
You know, I've
Yeah.
been doing
That's
this.
the right side of the confidence.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
But if you truly respect your art, then excellent preparation. It's like they say, you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail.
Yeah.
You know, excellent preparation is going to leave you in great stead.
Yeah.
It's like even if you are drunk, even if you are a bit overconfident, you're going to nail it because you worked so fucking hard at the boring shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Behind closed doors, no one
graft.
knows.
The
how
bit that
hard
they
you
don't
graft.
know.
Yeah, they don't see that.
It's funny how like the thing that when you are grafting, you've got this thing. You go on stage and do it. People don't. Not only do people not realise the groundwork, I think there's a perception of like it's just a given. Like if you're going to put something out, it has to be good anyway. Like videoing music videos, for instance, they're a great example. It's like it's just a given that they're meant to be good. Like people don't comment unless it's bad.
Yeah, for real.
Because that's kind of the way it's gone now. It's gone more. Well, that's shit. You know, type, and then if it's good, it's like. Oh yeah, of course it's good.
Yeah. I mean, that's the main thing for us nowadays, isn't it? It's that constant pressure to be above shit because of that. The sort of pushback, you know, the comments, the YouTube comments, the social media comments on your presence, you know, and I think it's wrong that we feel in any way intimidated by the reviews of people who haven't got the grace or the energy or the talent to do anything other than comment on other people's shit. Yeah. But we do. Yeah. Like every entertainer, they could call themselves thick-skinned, but every part of us wants the world to love us. Yeah. So, for example, at the height of my stand-up, I'd be playing rooms like 3,000 people, 4,000 people, and, you know, 3,999 of them are laughing. There's one dude just like this. And I'd just be drawn to him like a fucking magnet. Yeah, what's with this guy?
Yeah.
And sometimes I'd even throw a gig by going, mate, what's going on? Yeah. You're right. Yeah. You look tired. Like, you having a shit night? Yeah. And then the banter doesn't go anywhere. And I sort of put a nail in the coffin of my own gig. Yeah. I walk off stage thinking, why the fuck did I engage? Like, everyone's having a good... No one gives a fuck about that guy. And worse, no one can see him. Yeah. You're talking to him. People are like, what is it? Is this a part of the joke? Who's he talking to?
It's crazy how that you fixate on that.
Yeah.
And
it's
I guess
all in your head.
Yeah, it's all in your head, yeah.
So entertainers, we are, as much as we don't like to admit it, we're vulnerable, and you know, there's a delicacy to us because of our art. Our art is what we create is so much like our own children. Mm-hmm. As bold as and bolshy as we like to try and appear, that's our child out there.
That's right. Yeah.
And we don't want it abused.
Yeah.
It fucking hurts.
That's right.
So, you know, I mean, I actually came off social media. I've been off it for 1.5 years now.
I noticed that. I noticed you.
I'm gone.
Yeah, ducked out. Yeah.
And there were elements of that. Excuse me. There were elements of that. Like, I didn't want criticism, but I never really got heavily criticised. What I realised was nothing on there was helping me in any way, professionally or personally. So, all 90% of what I got on there, comments-wise, was positive. But I started realising that's not helping me.
Yeah.
I'm just gassing myself.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just fully gassing myself into thinking I'm something that I'm not.
Yeah, right.
And it reminded me of when I first started stand-up and I'd read the reviews.
Yeah.
Never read the reviews. Because if it's a bad review, you fixate and you change stuff that you don't need to change. It was just not... Maybe you weren't great that night. Yeah. But the material's fine.
Yeah,
don't need to change your whole fucking shtick.
Yeah.
And then a good review, Next night you walk out, you swagger on like the king of comedy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
And then the comedy gods are going to go, ooh, no.
the muses are going to be whipping from
No.
up there. Yeah.
And so I started thinking, well, you know, the only opinion that counts are the motherfuckers I like came up with, like dudes that I know. Like if Kela comes up to me and goes, bro, you know, see that last one you did? I don't know, I feel like maybe the angle, it just didn't feel like you, maybe should. That would go straight to my heart.
Because we've come
I'd
up
be like,
together.
right, I have to have a look at that.
Yeah, I get you. I get
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you know these are the points of reference. Like when you come
Some dude on Twitter, why do I give a fuck?
I know, dude. I know. Honestly, and the other thing about it is we tend to spend 20 minutes of every hour on the thing.
No, that's the other thing. It was a time thing.
Yeah.
So now on the iPhone, it can show you how long you spent on screen time and on which apps. And I was giving up like 3 hours a day to this shit. Yeah. I could do a lot in 3 hours.
Believe that.
And if I can't do real work in 3 hours, I could do some parenting of my children. Do you know what I mean? So I was just like, whoa, dude, like you need to just refocus.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'll never go back to it. Maybe I never will. Maybe I won't. But one thing's for sure, if I do ever go back, I'll have a different relationship with it. In the same way that sometimes you need to put the drugs down, you need to put a drink down, just so that when you come back to it, you can come back to it like an adult.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of thinking,
note to self.
It is, you know, it's 10 a.m. I haven't really written anything. Should I be having a beer?
Yeah, dude.
That feels a little bit alky.
Podcast is at 9:30. We normally have it. Should we be or shouldn't we be? That's the time. I mean, here's the thing, right? And I don't know how I'm zero qualified in talking about this to a point. But I'm speaking to a man with children. The thing with social media that I walk past mums with prams just on their phones.
Yeah.
And the kids were running
Gets
right.
to me.
Does that do you in?
It does, and it's another reason. Like I say, the time issue of how much time I was spending on there. It really depresses me when my kids call me out on it. You know?
Oh my God! Yeah,
that's really hard. Like, because like the little one, she hasn't got a phone yet. She's 10, right? The teenager, yes, she's got a phone.
Yeah.
But, you know, I limit what she's allowed to use on there. But the little ones, every now and again, she's like, oh, I want a phone, you know. She doesn't bug me too much, but I will let her play with it occasionally. And then I'll say, hey, you know, you've been on there for too long. You know, give me the phone back. And then I'm just on it, like running through emails, blah, blah, blah. She's like, you've been on it for like twice as long as me. Or like, I'll ignore something that she said because I'm reading something on my phone. And it just makes me feel like the worst dad in the world.
Of course, the delegation.
Someone was saying to me the other day that they have 2 times in a day. This is an artist, I forget who it is. They have 2 times in a day where they check everything. So they'll have like 10 a.m., they'll go into their little study and do all the emails, reply to whatever came last night, check everything, check the socials and whatnot. They have an allotted hour for it or half an hour. Yeah. And then, boom, that's it. And then they have another one at the end of the day for any business that's come in.
Oh, that's sick.
That's very sensible when you think about it. Yeah. If I got an email now, I'd be like, give me 1 second. No one needs a reply that quick. There's nothing in an artist's world that is that urgent that you need the email back straight away. But I always like,
me too.
Got to reply to that. Or like, you know, I'll send something out there and think, oh, this project, I'd love it if this came together. So I email this guy. Or worse, you know, when you email someone some shit that you've done that you think's cool, and you want some feedback on it.
Oh my God.
Like, oh, here's my idea for the new Walker's Crisps advert. I send it to my agent, and then there's no response.
Kills me.
No, I need to.
Kills me.
Did you get the email? Did it attach properly?
Yeah.
Maybe. Do you know what I mean? I'm just like, dude, just chill, like.
And you'll be there, just looking, resetting.
Yeah, refresh. You know, that's not helping. And when I heard that, this artist saying, 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. I do my emails done. I thought, that's sensible, man. So for me, it's not about, phones are evil, social media's evil, the internet's the devil.
That's right.
No, it's just like
discipline.
Anything. It's just like food. It's like good wine. It's like great drugs. Just a bit more moderation and a bit more forethought of how this is gonna affect you and the people that matter to you,
and how it's perceived as well from the opposite end. Yeah, whether it's social media or that email that you're you hound him for a response for it. So I agree. I feel
remember being in
you.
New York, and a friend of mine was DJing at an event. What was the? I can't remember the venue. It was a big old venue, but it was Rick Ross's birthday, and he was going to perform. Right, so he comes on with DJ Khaled, and you know how it goes, like 40 guys, right, and starts performing. But the 40 guys, you know, in the old days, you'd have the 40 guys and they'd be like rapping every word, jumping up and down.
Yeah.
Still messy. I don't like the 40 guys on a stage thing. Never have done.
Yeah.
But at least they're jumping up and down, getting the crowd hype.
Yeah.
All these 40 guys are just on their phones on the stage. Khaled was on his phone, on the decks.
Wow.
And in between songs, Rick Ross was on his phone. I'm like, this is not a fucking show.
Wow.
I'm looking at a bunch of people. And that's how, I'm not saying that they disrespected the crowd on purpose, but it's like you say, how it looks. You don't even notice. It's
That's
so
incredible.
natural. So natural to just go, yeah, totally, right. Yeah, totally. That they're doing it in the middle of their fucking job.
Yeah.
I just stood there thinking, this is horrible.
Yeah.
This is actually a horrible experience. I don't want to be here.
Yeah. There's so much to say for me, like with rap shows nowadays. You know, I wouldn't even go as far as to say back in the day it was better. I just think
Rap shows have always been messy.
and messy.
Some people have always done them amazingly. They tend to be of an era where it crossed over with other types of music and how big they did it. So the very early pioneers of rap moving into the 80s, they all had a memory or were working alongside people from other forms of music, funk, soul.
And what they grew up on. Yeah, that's right.
Where the stage show was everything and stage craft was everything. So, the De La Souls of this world, Beastie Boys, Run DMC, Public Enemy, NWA, like a lot of those sort of late 80s groups, their stage shows were unbelievable,
crazy,
massive.
Yeah.
And even if you look at later shows of De La, if you go see De La Soul now, the Beastie Boys, up until obviously they lost Yauk recently, but even up until recently, they still got that thing of like, no, everything that happens on stage, it needs to be planned out. It needs to be entertaining. It needs to be funny in places.
That's right.
We're playing roles. It's like a play. It's a show.
Yeah.
And unfortunately with rap, I think, again, because it is a street culture and there's an immediacy to it, it's just like, get that dude on the fucking mic. And sometimes that is enough. Like, occasionally, I remember seeing Nas at XOYO, which is a tiny venue.
Damn, yeah.
But because it was just Nas and the beat,
That was
and
it.
it's like, actually, this is all I want right now. This is amazing.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's great. The intimacy of it is fantastic. But a lot of the time, it's like, oh, you've literally just shown up and thought that that's enough.
Yeah, you hear horror stories of that shit, don't you?
Rapping over your own record, like you haven't even got like an instrumental, let alone a band.
Yeah. Well, LL Cool J even did that in the 80s apparently. Like Z-Trip was saying to me that he was like, dude, I cut him like, what was it, Rock the Bells on instrumental, and LL like took one listen to this track and he paused it and he was like, where'd you get this from? And C was like, I made it myself actually. I took the start and I just looped it up, and did the cutouts when it does it on the track. And he was like, damn, I never even had an instrumental back in the 80s. I was rapping over my voice. Yeah, mad, isn't it? But I think nowadays it's a bit of a plague, the whole kind of rap over your lyrics sort of.
Yeah, it's a bit sad.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some showmanship's coming back into it a little bit because rap is going through that cycle again where it's becoming pop again. Yeah. So like now if you go to a Stormzy gig, a Gets show, like it's high production values and they've thought it out, and there's shit to look at and enjoy, and there's proper musicians. So that side of it is great. But I think rap will always be plagued by it.
Of course.
It always will.
Yeah, of course. I'm a bit mindful actually of like the US side of things. The 6ix9ine generation of raps, because I think they're doing themselves a long-term disservice in that no one's sticking out of the crowd going, no, I'm going to rap on my beats now. And this is what America needs most, because in the UK, by the way, we're fucking killing it. We've
Oh,
got
man.
every genre on lock.
It's unbelievable
It's
right now.
crazy the scene across the board in the UK. So
So proud
Yeah.
and so happy that it's happened
Yeah.
in my lifetime.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? Because you remember what it was like 20 years ago. We were kids, and there's just a part of you. You just lie in bed at night thinking, my music's never coming out.
yeah.
And if it does, no one's gonna listen to it. And
Yeah.
is this even real?
Yeah.